Ellen's reigns. This doesn't look good.
Tahar, you're awake.
He is, and he has got some interesting stories to tell.
But they'll have to wait. Where are Isgrim and Gorn?
I don't know. They weren't in the Nexus when the fight broke out. I'd say they've taken matters into their own hands.
What are your orders, Tahar? This doesn't look good.
We have to seal the entrances. If they breach through either one of them, we're done with.
Then we need to split up. I'll get some of my men and make a stand in the southwest.
Then I'll take over the northwest. That's the hardest one for them to reach, so chances are they still haven't made it.
Then we'll help you.
Good. And Tahar, if what that scout said is true, and House Utran is really part of this attack, don't harm her. I know my sister, and this does not make any sense at all. There must be a reason for all of this.
I didn't even know Lady Utran is your sister.
I don't blame you. Northander politics and family bonds are complicated, but yes, she is my sister. And since her husband, Lord Rickard Utran, died, she's the ruler of the Utran lands, which makes this development as dangerous as it's bizarre. The fact that House Leonider is supporting the Harbinger is bad enough.
I'll do my best. Good luck, Angar. We'll come to your help once the other entrances are secured.
Do that. Nihalth guide your sword, Tahar.
Corporal.
Will do.
Sure.
Let's see.
Tahar, you're awake.
Shit. So they've already breached the outer walls.
They will soon. That masked thing on the other side. I don't know how he does it, but he's draining me.
Drain. Iria!
Cosa valiantia.
Blazes, what kind of magic is that? Ready yourself, Tahar!
What's next?
One down!
Not the real one.
Is that all?
You'll regret this.
Ellen's reins. What happened?
The barrier gave up.
Blazes. For someone who just came back from the dead, you're in good shape. Whatever your mother did to you, it seems to help. What about that masked fellow? Where is he?
We've taken care of him. At least for now. Are you injured?
No, just a scratch. Seems like Scryer Elion got the worst of it.
Can you take care of her? We have to make sure the other entrances are safe.
Yes. I'll get her to the Nexus as quick as possible. Be careful, Corporal. I have a feeling that masked priest wasn't Lacane's only ace up the sleeve.
Probably not. Stay safe, Iria.
What now? The southwest, the southeast, and the northeastern entrance are still undefended.
Then we need to take care of them.
I'll be swift.
Are you deaf? I said no! That machine will squash you like an insect! You're here. Good. I assume that means the Northwest is secured.
It is. How about you?
Well, we managed to fend off their first attack. They aren't purity, though.
What then?
Mercenaries. They don't have a banner, so they could be about anyone. Thing is, they've put up a siege weapon of sorts right up that hill, which prevents us from retaliating.
What kind of weapon?
I don't know. It looks like some kind of catapult. but it seems to be magic-fueled and throws fireballs which cause massive damage. We're out of reach, but the moment we move against their camp, it'll decimate us within seconds.
Whereas, if you attack the machine directly, the mercenaries themselves will fall into your backs.
Or swarm right into the city, yes. We weren't enough to split up, but now we are. Good timing, in other words.
So you want us to destroy that weapon?
Yes. The moment it is down, we'll go for their strong point.
We could also take on their camp by ourselves.
I don't think that's wise, Tahar. You'll be outnumbered, but I can't stop you.
Really?
That way. There it is. Take it down.
Shit! Kill them!
They will fall. Whatever's necessary.
I understand.
That should do it.
Then we should join Angar. He'll need help with his attack. Child's play.
Blazes. This is Commander Katras from Aenir's Deathmen.
So he's fighting for the purity now.
Corporal Tahar. What a surprise.
Katras, why?
Don't talk, friend. Fight.
Now
Blazes, Tahar. Now I know why Lacane wants you dead. You really know how to fight.
why Katras? Why side with the Harbinger?
Blazes, you do like your dramatic lines, don't you? Look, this isn't personal. Lacane and his fanatics took down my camp and gave me a choice. Repent and accept the light, or have some stern-faced priest ram a bloody pike up me arse. So, unless you have some odd fantasies that I don't want to know about, don't tell me you wouldn't have done the same.
A loyal man wouldn't have.
Well, good thing I never swore loyalty to you or the Empire, isn't it? Don't kid yourself, Lord Marshal. You would have done the exact same thing. Pretend all you like, in the end we're all selfish pieces of shit, and the only difference between me and you is that I'm honest about it.
Any last words?
I hate to disappoint, but we're not quite there yet, friend. Goodbye, Tahar. Too bad we couldn't be on the same side this time.
What the?
A teleport rune. Wise choice.
Bloody coward. At least we secured the entrance. That's what matters. What about the rest of the city? Are we safe?
Not yet. Hold your position for now. We'll meet at the Nexus once all this is over.
Understood. Tiara's blessings to her.
There's still 2 entrances we haven't covered yet. Let's hope it's not too late.
Finally.
I understand.
Zarek's fangs. Tahar. Blazes, it is you. Last time I saw you, you were lying on that stone bed like a bloody corpse.
That's about how I felt when I woke up. What's the situation? I don't see any Purity men around here.
No, not Purity, but someone else. According to my scout, they're gathering their forces down that valley. My gut tells me they're waiting for reinforcements.
If it's not the Purity, who are we dealing with? Another one of the royal houses?
No, I don't think so. To me, they look like bandits. But they're fighting under Aeonir's banner. And the man my Kayran hunter took down had the Purity symbol tattooed right across his forehead.
The Bane. The ones who massacred the Nortander outpost in Leafshade.
Huh. Yeah, that fits.
Damn it. What's the plan then?
Well, now that you're here, I say you move out and crush them. We'll hold our position and cover your backs.
Simple enough. All right then. Move out. There's still 2 entrances we haven't covered yet. Let's hope it's not too late.
Prepare yourselves. Fabled pariah. Interesting. I thought you were dead.
Why are you doing this? Throwing your lives away for some deluded madmen.
Deluded? You're confusing something, Tahar. The Harbinger is pure. We're pure. You. People like you are who are making this necessary. It wasn't always like that, you know. A long time ago, this world was a world of peace. But then man gave in to temptation. They were weak, and they chose sin over virtue, sin over purity. And now look where we stand. Our history is a testament to our corruption. Wars, rape, hunger, illness. They are Aeronir's punishment for defying him. But that era has come to an end. We will make the world pure again and make it worthy of Aeronir's return.
Well, obviously there's no point in arguing with you. Let's just get this over with.
My words exactly. Not bad, Tahar. Not bad.
Any last words?
Yeah. Listen.
What the?
Go after me and lose your city and your friend, or save them and let me go. Your choice.
She got away.
No time to go after. We need to secure the entrance.
It will be bloody.
Sure.
That way. All right.
You picked the wrong enemies.
Fine.
I understand.
Interesting.
A trap. I should have seen that.
Their leader got away.
I figured. But it won't be the last time we see her. We secured the entrance. That's what matters. What about the rest of the city? They attacked from all sides at once.
Yes, I know. We'll take care of it. Just hold your position for now. Once all this is over, we'll meet at the Nexus.
Understood. Don't die, Tahar.
I'll do my best.
Got it.
Almost through. Just one more entrance to go.
All the more reason to hurry.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Stay where you are. These things aren't just here for bugger and blast. You just had to find out for yourself, didn't you?
Now would you look at that?
What the... Tahar? Is that you?
I'll explain later. What's the situation? What are those things?
My newest invention. Or, to be more precise, my newly recovered Shaper technology. I call them, Death Towers.
Death Towers?
Yeah. While you were asleep, I did some more research on how the Shapers use the Nexus to defend their city. This is the result, though they won't hold forever. But my gut tells me the Utrans are up to something, because I haven't seen Lady Moira yet.
So it's true? House Utran is fighting for the purity?
Yeah, and quite viciously so. In other words, your awakening couldn't be more timely.
What do you suggest?
Well, as you know, I'm not the best at tacticians, but from what I saw, the attacks are currently coordinated by 2 Utran commanders. If we stay here and make sure no one gets through, you could take out those commanders in the meantime.
Got it. I'll come back when it's done.
Good. Nihalf guide your blade, friend.
Understood.
You read my mind. Whatever's necessary.
Good. Now let's find the other one. I'll make it quick.
Pathetic. Blazes! That's Lady Myra Utran. We need to help Iskrim. Got it.
They won't stand a chance.
Blazes! What's the matter with her? She's acting like a bloody animal.
One more step and I'll slit my throat.
Lady Mira, what?
Shut up!
Tell me one reason I shouldn't kill you.
Let me think. How about the fact that if I die, the Utran lands will fall into chaos and you'll have another civil war at hand? Just what you need right now, isn't it? Not to mention that the poor, precious Lord Marshal would be heartbroken losing his sister like that.
I hate to say it, but she's right. We cannot let her die.
But I don't understand. Why did you betray the crown? Explain yourself.
Explain yourself? Oh, Tahar, you must understand the situation. You're not in a position to give orders. So here's what's gonna happen. You will let me walk away unharmed. You can have my soldiers, I don't care. But if you make only one wrong move, I will end this by slitting my throat.
Lady Mira, what?
You heard me. So, Tahar, what shall it be?
Fine. Get out of here.
A man of reason. One more thing, though, before I leave.
What?
You will repent. All of you.
Nihalf's hammer. What was that?
I have absolutely no idea. Corporal?
Of course.
That is... Wait. I have a theory.
About what happened to Myra?
Yeah. But let's talk about that later. I think this entrance should be safe for now. The Death Towers will make sure of that. But what about the rest of the city?
I'm on it. We'll meet at the Nexus when, if, this mess is taken care of. Be on your guard, Iskrim.
Of course. Thank you again, Tahar. I'm glad you're back.
So many casualties. I just don't understand. We just ended one war. Now the Harbinger starts another.
Human nature, Tahar. People need an enemy. Peace is always fleeting.
Do you really think so?
I do.
What do you mean? She was possessed. This doesn't make any sense.
I'm afraid it does. But again, I have a theory. Let's wait for Tahar.
There you are. I've assigned troops to guard the entrances and double the defenses. If the Harbinger ever strikes again, we'll be prepared.
Well, just remember that I'm the one in charge here, Arendir.
I do. But that won't stop me from doing what I deem necessary to make sure that madman doesn't overrun us like amateurs. Right now, this city is one of the last fortresses that stand between the purity and their genocide. Anyway, there are more important things we need to discuss now. For starters, what, by the Guardians, happened to my sister?
That's a damn good question. Iskrim, you said that you have a theory.
Well, yeah, I do. The rune. While you were asleep, I tinkered with it a little.
You think the rune has something to do with this?
A rune. But it's probably best if I show you. Follow me, Tahar.
I'm coming too.
All right, let's see. Turn around.
Tiara's breath.
Step forward. So, you get the idea.
Mind control.
Yeah. There are still some critical problems with it, and what I've done is far from what the Harbinger did with Lady Moira. But Tahar, this rune, it has so much potential. If you thought what it does with the Godstones was fascinating, it's just the beginning. The Shapers, the Gazarlanthep, they knew their full potential. And this is the reason they were so powerful. Do you see it now? They...
Have you lost your bloody mind? Stop that! Whatever it is! Stop it now!
What?
Stop it for fuck's sake!
Fine. You're free. Go and take a nap.
Unbelievable. This is unbelievable.
So you actually possessed those men?
No, I mean, yeah, the rune did. Look, Tahar, I know that I was maybe a bit too enthusiastic here, but can't you see the potential? Those soldiers, they'd do anything you command them to, without batting an eyelid.
They still look hypnotized. Are they free now?
Yeah. It may take a while to recover, but tomorrow they won't remember anything. So it's not that bad. Who knows? Maybe they would have died in the fight if they hadn't been under my control.
And you think that the Harbinger controls Lady Moira, right?
Yes. And in an extraordinarily powerful way, if I may say so.
Huh. In other words, we need to find a way to break that possession. Right now, House Utran is under the Harbinger's control.
Madness. This is madness.
Whatever it is, let's tend to the wounded first. We'll discuss everything else in the Nexus.
Yes. Let's do that.
All right, let's catch our breath first. Angar, I'll talk to you when I'm ready to discuss the next steps.
Good. I'll be waiting.
Ah, Tahar. Never mind.
Something on your mind?
Well, maybe. Remember when you asked me about Rain? The other gifted shaman from my tribe?
Yeah? What about it?
I want to talk about it. I'm not supposed to, but I don't know. I trust you, Tahar. and I've kept silent about this for far too long. Zarek's fangs, this is so silly. Feel like a damn child.
Gore, just spit it out already.
Right. Where do I start? Before becoming a shaman, every disciple has to go through a trial. The Iron Trial, as it's called. I told you that I did most of my training in solitude, didn't I? That wasn't true. 5 years after I entered disciplehood, another orc was accepted by my elder. A female named Rain. She was 2 years younger than me.
I thought only male orcs can be gifted.
No. It's just that for female orcs, it's even rarer to have magic. Which is why there are close to no female shamans.
How did you get along?
Well, at first, I was a complete dick to her. I was jealous and feared for my position. However, she never took offense by it. She fired back at me when I got childish, but at the same time never lowered herself to my level. As the years went by, we became friends. And no, there was no courting or mating involved, if that's what you're thinking. She was more like a sister to me, and one who, unlike my true kin, understood me. Those years in the Orcish steppes, they were special. We spent days, weeks out in the wild, doing whatever our elder tasked us with. And though it was hard, there was beauty in that. We just had this connection between us, this trust.
Sounds like friendship to me.
Yeah, friendship. I never had a connection like that again, and I rarely talk about it. One time I did, the orc I told it to laughed right in my face. He thought it was ludicrous, a male spending time with a female who wasn't his mate. Stopped laughing when I broke his nose.
But something happened, am I right?
Yeah, the trial did. The sacred test every disciple has to take before he or she can become a shaman. Our elder sent us both at the same time, which was unusual. But of course I was relieved. There was plenty of talk about the Iron Trial, and I was scared.
How did Rain feel about it?
Same as I. Believe me, Tahar, only a fool would have entered into the trial with a smug smile on his face. We knew what was ahead of us.
What did you know about the trial?
Rumors. Shamans are forbidden to talk about it. But it was known that only half of those who take it return at all.
So what happened?
Zarek's fangs. I can't believe I'm telling you this. I'm breaking my oath.
For what it's worth, I'll keep silent about it, I promise.
I know you will, Tahar. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We weren't told much about the trial. Only that we'd have to venture to a cave, far up in Bargar Gore. They also didn't tell us how to get there. Only that Zarek would guide us. And he did. After a week of traveling, we found it. It was a strange place, Tahar. I saw that right from the beginning. The entrance looked like a mouth, the rocks surrounding it like the bones of an old forgotten beast, and the stalagmites like hundreds of teeth. But of course, we went in. We had to.
What did you find?
A giant hall. It was as mesmerizing as it was unsettling. There were murals and carvings all over the cave walls. Old glyphs that I'd never seen before.
Shaper glyphs, maybe?
No, not Shaper. They looked as if the Guardians themselves had carved them into the rock.
Interesting. What else was there?
Nothing. That's what baffled me. Apart from those murals, The hall was completely empty. And for some reason, the ground in that hall was completely smooth, like polished stone. There were braziers, one in each corner of the hall, and they were burning brightly. Rain was as confused as I was. But nonetheless, we entered the hall. And that's when the trouble began. Because all of a sudden, the exit was gone. No magical noise, nothing. Just in that moment when we looked the wrong direction, it disappeared. And instead of it, we were looking at another wall.
How is that even possible? Maybe it was an illusion.
That was our first thought too, but it wasn't. That new wall was as solid as every other rock in that hall.
Strange. What did you do?
Well, after we calmed down a little, we assessed our situation. We figured that this was the Iron Trial, and that it was our task to find another exit. So we started looking. But it was pointless. There was nothing. We couldn't even hear the wind anymore. For the next 14 days, we were trapped. We couldn't make that wall disappear, and no matter how long we studied the glyphs, how long we prayed, nothing happened. On the 5th day, our provisions had come to an end, save for half a skin of water and a handful of jerky. On the 8th day, it was all gone.
Blazes. How did you survive?
I'm getting there. As you can imagine, the thirst was the worst. It drove us mad, and we searched every corner of that goddamn hall for just a drop of water. Not that we hadn't looked before, but as you know, hope dies last. Have you ever had thirst, Tahar? Real thirst?
Yes.
Then you know what it feels like. On the 11th day, Rain and I were puking our guts out. Our skin had literally started to crack, and I felt as if I was burning from within. On the 12th day, we were only an inch from death. That's when the dream came.
A dream?
Yes, a shared dream, almost like a vision. We were still in that hall, Rain and I, but we were out of our bodies, floating like spirits. At first I thought we had died, then I saw what was different. The floor was full of blood, and that blood was burning. The murals and glyphs had started moving, twisting, like shadows dancing on a wall. That's when I first understood what they were depicting. For some reason in the real world, I'd never been able to.
What did they depict?
It showed what was expected from us, what we had to do to get out. Sorry this isn't easy. I've dreamed about those weeks ever since. But telling someone, it feels bizarre. Zarek demanded a fight. Either one of us died by the hands of the other, or we would die there together. The Iron Trial. We were never both meant to pass.
Truth be told, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, and it shouldn't have surprised me either. But for some reason, I don't know. He had known Tahar, our elder, our master. He had known that it would come to this. Yet he still decided to send the two of us out at once.
So you fought each other?
No. Trial or not, I would have rather died than done that. And that's precisely what I told Rain. A god that demands a man to kill his own sister is not a god that deserves worship by anyone. But Rain wouldn't have it. She claimed that if both of us died, both of our lives would be wasted for nothing. I got angry and asked her if she meant that she wanted to fight me. She said no.
I don't understand.
She wanted me to kill her. She told me that she was already too weak to make it down the mountain anyway, but that I could still make it. Believe me, Tahar, if there had been any strength left in me, I would have punched her just for suggesting it.
Did you ever consider sacrificing yourself?
No. I know it makes me sound like a coward, and maybe that was part of the reason why I didn't. But the sane part of my mind still believed that there had to be another way. That all this was just some cruel joke, and the cave we had found maybe wasn't Zarek's after all.
And yet, you're here.
I am. I should have known before she even did it. She always had to have it her way, no matter the price. It happened when I was asleep. She took my dagger from its sheath, put it into my hand, and drove it through her throat without hesitation. When I opened my eyes, her blood was already all over my face. And as if Zarek had been watching all along, the wall disappeared. No noise. Just like that. The wind was back, and it was raining outside. The first time in months. I like to think that she saw it before she died.
Did you make the descent?
I did. There were berries in a mountain goat that had been hit by a rock slide, right next to the exit. It was so absurd I almost had to laugh. When I got back to the Elder's shack, I screamed at him, then broke down and started to cry. He just listened. In the end, he told me that we had both known what had been at stake. Yet we agreed. Choice and consequence. He made me a shaman the next day.
Do you blame yourself sometimes?
Of course I do. But ultimately, it was her choice. And all I can do to honor her now is to respect it.
That's cruel.
Maybe. But without cruelty, there isn't life. Don't you too send brothers and sisters into battle, Tahar? Children, fathers. You do it because ultimately, you believe the outcome will lead to a world more desirable. It was the same with Rain and me. We wanted to be shamans, Zarek's chosen, and we both paid the price.
I see.
There's one more thing. Remember when you asked me why I feel the way I do about our culture? Why I think we orcs should strive for more? It's Rain who made me realize that. Most orcs would have fought each other in that cave, to the death. But she didn't. Instead of submitting to her primal instincts, she made a sacrifice. One that I could have made too, if I hadn't been such a coward. Blazes, it feels strange to have told you all this. But, I don't regret it.
Well, thanks for trusting me with this, Gore.
Let me have some time for myself right now, all right? I need to think.
I was hoping you'd come by. That was quite the surprise visit, wasn't it? The Harbinger couldn't have picked a better time for his attack.
I guess you could say that. How's your injury? That blast from the barrier looked quite painful.
The blast? Oh yeah, sure. I'm as good as new. One of the perks of being a light mage. Tahar, I'm sorry. For everything.
What do you mean?
Well, what you discovered in that dungeon. I didn't see that coming, honestly. I mean, I'd always felt you were different, but an experiment of your father? I would have never guessed. And now that bastard Lacane took your mother. It's just... one tragedy follows another. Now I feel almost ridiculous thinking about my supposed problems.
We can still save her.
Yeah, I know. And we will. Blazes. How crazy does that all sound? A half-shaper whose mother's spirit has been stolen by a religious fanatic. If all this weren't actually happening, I'd think I'd be watching a bad play. Though you'd definitely be the tragic hero in this, and I don't envy you.
I appreciate your concern, but I'm fine.
Are you? Tell me, Tahar. If you had had the choice, would you have wanted to know? About your mother and how you were born?
Well, what about you? Your father also never told you who your mother was. Would you want to find out?
Good question. On the one hand, yes, I think I would. But then again, I never made any serious efforts to find out. I guess in the end it wouldn't have really mattered. She is dead, I know that much. And whether she was a priestess of the White Tree or a slum dweller, it wouldn't have changed the fact that she wasn't there when I grew up. But you're a different story. Your mother is still alive. And she's a shaper. I mean, doesn't that change everything? Would you really have wanted to know?
Yes. It's always better to know the truth.
Is it? Sometimes I wonder if the truth doesn't just make it all worse. Anyway, shaper or not, it's good to have you back. Honestly, there were times when I was worried you wouldn't ever wake up again.
I'm touched.
You better be. Anyway, in case you were wondering, I'm not planning to leave now. If you need my help, I'll be here.
You don't need to stay. You know that, right? Our work with the Purity is over, and nothing's stopping you from going back on the road.
Safer than mage-murdering Lightbringers, right? Look, unless you want me to leave, I'll stay, and I'll fight. And no, I'm not trying to sound heroic. Apart from the fact that there's worse company than you, the dwarf, and the others we picked up along the way, I can't just stand by and watch while those bloody fanatics do their best to plunge this world into yet another war.
Thanks, Iria. I really appreciate it.
Great. And now that we've got that out of the way, you should get some more sleep. You still look like a walking corpse. Don't make a habit out of it. I'll talk to you later. Tahar? I guess I still owe you an explanation, don't I? About that bandit in Farland's Hope?
Do you?
I do. First off, I appreciate that you didn't stop me. It was what most reasonable people would have done, I guess.
He deserved it.
Yeah, he did. About 5 years ago, something happened. I was on the road and the sun had just started to set, and I was closing in on the village where I had planned to spend the night. It was a beautiful day, really. The sky was clear, the stars were coming out, and the crickets were chirping. Just 1 mile before the village gates, I saw a woman and her son. Or at least I thought he was. And they were surrounded by 2 men and a woman, who were pushing her around, tearing her clothes off. She was weeping, begging them for mercy, and her son, who probably didn't realize what was happening, was holding her leg and crying. That woman's screams were horrible. What I remember even more was the crying of that poor boy. They were the tears of a soul who, up to that point, had still thought life was all about beauty, about love, and who had now awoken to reality. Long story short, I didn't help. I just stood there, watching it all through the thickets like some grotesque play. When they were done, they kicked the woman into a pit on the roadside and took the boy with them.
Why didn't you help?
I've been asking myself the same thing ever since. In the end, I think it was plain cowardice. Then again, if life taught me something, then it's that only in the books that people make the right calls when push comes to shove. Sure, there are exceptions, but most of us just stand by and watch.
And that was why you tortured the bandit?
I guess. That woman the bandit in Farland's Hope killed. I don't know, but something about her reminded me of that summer night. And yeah, I know, it was a stupid thing to do. Stupid and above all, pointless. Making that bandit suffer didn't help anyone. Neither the woman he had tortured to death, nor the one on the road, or her little boy. I just couldn't help it. It was as if some dark part of my mind had taken over.
Maybe it was your way of atoning for not helping that woman.
Atoning? Such a big word. I don't know. Either way, anything else you need? If not, I'd like to have some time on my own. There's a lot that's been going through my mind lately. Corporal? Need anything?
You never told me why you fled Finan Mir.
Fair enough. You've given me little reason to distrust you, so... Oh well. Let's just get this over with. I already told you about my father. How to him I had always been more of an asset. Well, after my father died, I decided to become a novice.
A novice?
Someone aspiring to be a priest of Elen. I don't know why I did it. It was something my father had always considered a backup plan if an arranged marriage wouldn't work out. Part of it was probably because obeying my father was all I knew at that time.
What does life as a priest of Elen look like?
Boring. Though not as boring as a Northander monk's life. You are free to have family and to indulge in the earthly pleasures. Still, your life is devoted to worship. And for a priest of Elen, that means healing the sick and preserving Ellen's greatest gift, nature.
Was it difficult to receive the novitiate?
Not for me. First of all, I was a good candidate. I was still very young, not even in my 30s. And I already knew a great deal about magic and healing. Secondly, I was, after all, pure blood. That helped as well.
But something happened.
Yes. In my first year, I fell in love. That crazy, hot-blooded, head-over-the-heels kind of love that the bards all sing about. The boy felt the same way, and for the next year it was, well, it was perfect. It was the two of us against the world. Maybe you know that feeling.
What was his name?
Doesn't matter.
And the priests didn't mind?
Priestesses. Only women are allowed to teach. And no, they didn't. Elves consider love to be a blessing of Elen. Forbidding it would be near absurd. I have no clue where your monks got that idea from. Though, of course, that boy and I tried to, restrain ourselves when the situation demanded it.
Huh. And I guess your romance didn't end well.
You guess right. But it was more than that. You know, I told you how I always felt estranged around other people. I knew how to put on a smile, how to make myself fit in, but it was always fake. Shallow. With him, it was different. Dramatic as it may sound, I thought I had finally found someone who understood me. Then there was the novitiate. Despite all the time I sunk into doing the crazy things lovers often do, I never failed as a student. Or, no, let's put it another way. I was the best, in every aspect.
Which didn't sit well with some people.
No. And eventually, they made sure I felt it. They excluded me from everything, stared at me when I walked by. It hurt, yes, but I convinced myself it didn't. I've always been good at that.
Did it take a toll on your relationship with that boy?
More than that. My lover's friends started manipulating him. Telling him that I only saw him as my pet, that he was a failure, and that I only kept him around to feel good about myself.
What? And he listened to them? That's pathetic.
Maybe. But he was young, same as I, and young people often do irrational things. You see, we novices all knew that only 4 out of 20 will be granted priesthood at the end of our training. And being a failed novice leaves you with a mark you'll keep for the rest of your life. It all looked peaceful on the surface, but beneath that it was an arena. And these other novices, they made sure my friend became aware of that fact. To him, I started being a rival as well. And do you want to know the biggest joke of it all? I didn't see it. The idea that, I don't know, that he would listen to them. that he would ever reach a point where he'd put what we had below his hurt pride and his fears. It never crossed my mind.
So what happened?
Well, he knew I was curious by nature, so one night when we were in bed together, he suddenly asked me if I wanted to go on an adventure. Of course I said yes. So we snuck out into the cloister's courtyard. It was beautiful. The night was cloudless, and the old oak, our cloister's shrine, had just begun to bloom. We made our way to the library building, but of course the door was locked. Out of nowhere, he pulled a key, grinning at me, and opened it. It was insane. As you can imagine, priests aren't known for being lenient towards these kinds of trespassings. We were risking our novitiate, and I didn't even know the reason, but I liked it. And we were doing it together, weren't we? It was exciting. He took my hand and we went to the High Priestess's office. We opened the door and went inside, and there he finally told me what we were here for, to open the grimoire.
Whatever that is, it sounds like that was a terribly bad idea.
It was. It was a stupid idea. And if I hadn't been so blind, so bloody naive, I should have seen it by then. But I didn't.
What did he ask you to do?
To open it and try to read one of the spells. He teased me. Told me that I wouldn't be able to do it. You know, saying it like that sounds so bloody stupid, doesn't it? But again, I was too blind. I laughed. I wanted to impress him, so I gave him a kiss. Opened the page and started saying the words. Long story short, I lost control. The spell was too much for me to handle and it misfired. One moment I was staring at the pages, the next one the library was aflame and my lover was gone.
I'm sorry.
Don't be. I was the one too stupid to see it coming.
How far did that fire spread?
Not far. It was put out before it could do real damage. But, of course, that was the end of novitiate. I was thrown into the cell of shame and sentenced to 12 years of polishing prayer banks and cleaning floors in the shrine.
Did you try to tell the priestesses the whole story?
No, I just sat there and smiled. Of course I did. But my love had all his friends to back him up. To them, it wasn't even a trial. It was a feast.
Your lover, did he regret it?
I think so. The only bloody gratification I ever got from this. But even if he would have confessed and begged me to take him back, I couldn't have. All that connection, that trust, it was gone. Worse, it was tainted.
But you never did polish those prayer banks, am I right?
No. In the night after the trial, they still let me sleep in my chamber. Thoughtlessness, I suppose, or maybe they simply didn't care. I got my things, left, and never came back. So, here it is, the whole truth. No dark secrets, no assassinations, no necromantic rituals. Just a plain old broken heart. Compared with all that shit you had to go through, it almost sounds ludicrous.
It doesn't. Being betrayed by someone you trust often hits the hardest.
Yeah, I guess. It's just, I don't get it. How could he give all that up? I mean, there was something between us, you know? Something rare, something precious. But no, he threw it all away for his fucking vanity. But in a way, it's just a continuation of what I've always known. Wherever I am, I'm a stranger. People don't like me, and I don't like them.
For what it's worth, I'm glad our paths crossed.
Yeah, me too, Corporal. Me too. I'd like some space now. I hope you don't mind. Let's talk later.
Understood. Mm-hmm.